Roman Reigns' storyline and everything related to the Bloodline has easily been some of the best parts of WWE television over the last few years. No storyline or no other program in WWE can really compete with the quality of storytelling that Roman Reigns usually brings to the table. However, that's not to say it's completely flawless. It definitely has its small plot holes. And that's fine, because one of those plot holes is what the foundation of this new theory will be built on. So, what's the history of the Bloodline? Well, the answer's in the name. They're all close family members. This was something that was especially touched on during Roman Reigns' feud with Jey Uso way back during the start of his Universal title reign. During that story, they shed some light on how close Roman and the Usos were growing up with each other. They weren't distant cousins that rarely saw each other. No, they were right around the same age and were practically like three brothers growing up back then. Some fans still say that Roman vs. Jey is the best overall story out of Roman's entire title reign because of how deep and personal it felt. It truly was something special. It was the start of Roman's new character, but it was a really strong start and showed us that he was willing to throw the relationships with the Usos to the side in order to take charge of WWE and to take charge of the entire family. That led to the moments like we saw during the Hell in a Cell match with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. Roman is getting ready to destroy Jey as if he were some random opponent, and it was Jimmy who stopped him and asked him what was wrong, even offering Roman help to get him through whatever he was going through at the time. Roman broke down for a second but attacked Jimmy as well, and stood tall over Jimmy and Jey, and that was the night where he emerged as the true, undisputed leader of the family. The story of Jey's turn was great. He was basically beaten into submission to join Roman Reigns. He was terrified of Roman after the events of Hell in a Cell, so there was no issue with that. Jimmy's turn, on the other hand, was a lot more weak and a bit questionable. Jimmy returns in spring 2021. He says that Roman can't tell him to do nothing. He's his own man. He's trying to convince Jey to leave Roman. It was getting real interesting. But then, after spending weeks saying he'll never fold for Roman, Jimmy did exactly that, and it didn't have the strongest explanation either. He spent weeks going against Roman and then randomly had a change of heart and acknowledged Roman. So that was the small issue there with Jimmy's turn. Once Jimmy fell in line, all that conflict of trying to convince Jey to leave Roman just disappeared. And ever since that moment, there, with Jimmy's return, there's been little to no conflict among the Bloodline. Now, if the Usos are plotting against Roman Reigns behind the scenes, then that's completely a different story. But as far as we, the viewers, can see on screen, everything is peaceful. But jumping back into some of the plot holes for the Bloodline, one of the plot holes is, why doesn't the Usos ever question Roman Reigns for not having their back at all times? It doesn't have to be confrontational, but why doesn't the Usos bring it to Roman's attention like, we're always there for you, but you're not always there for us? And if they were to say that, it will obviously be true. The Usos are there for Roman Reigns whenever they're needed at any show, at any time of the day to help him out against anyone. But have one of the Usos be in trouble, needing some help, and Roman will, most of the time, just turn around and head back up the ramp. And the craziest part about that is, like we said, the Usos just accept it. They don't even question him on why he always leaves them in harm's way like that. So, for the sake of this theory, what if the Usos finally reach the breaking point where they're tired of being used by Roman and decide to split from him? If the Usos really want to put an exclamation mark on their breakup with Roman, they would of course do it in a big moment that could possibly cost Roman Reigns his world title. Now, that would be a big moment. It reveals that the Usos actually weren't accepting all the abuse and punishment from Roman Reigns. They were secretly plotting against him with this major plan the entire time. And what better way to strike back at Roman than obviously screwing him over and ending his 600+ day title reign? Talk about making a statement. That would be huge. So having the Usos make a move like that instantly eliminates that plot hole of them not questioning Roman for not having their backs. Now we would know that they never questioned him because they were already cooking something up and plotting a much bigger plan. So they probably didn't want him to be suspicious of what they were about to do. So it would be a big babyface turn for the Usos, and now Roman Reigns is at the disadvantage because obviously the Usos have the numbers advantage over him. And it doesn't matter who you are, the numbers advantage will eventually catch up to you every single time. So what does Roman do now? Well, this is where another reference comes in with an older theory. When Retribution first came into WWE, Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns were speculated by the fans on being the masterminds behind the operation. So, similar idea here. What if Paul Heyman went behind the scenes to recruit some new soldiers to stand by Roman's side to take on the Usos? Like we saw back inside the Thunderdome, superstars like Apollo Crews were seen going to Roman Reigns for advice on their careers. What happened after Apollo talked to Roman? Apollo embraced his family heritage, similar to Roman, and captured a title at WrestleMania 37. So that right there makes Roman's advice seem like words of gold. So what if Roman's replacement for the Usos are some superstars that have come to him for advice before? Superstars that want to be taken under his wing. The man is just coming off a 600-day title reign, so maybe there are a few superstars that wouldn't mind being mentored by Roman, and that's why they take this opportunity to stand by his side and fight his cousins off for him. It'll be a great way to elevate one or two more superstars that are probably just sitting around backstage as well. If you do introduce someone as Roman's new muscle and new enforcer, then obviously that'll be great for the individual's career because now they'll be appearing on WWE television right next to the face of WWE every week. What better way to start getting exposure than by standing next to Roman? So when it comes to the Bloodline, similar to other tag teams and factions, the question is always, who will strike first and cause the conflict? Well, we know how Roman is. He doesn't like any of the Bloodline members losing. Even if it's a random non-title match or a random edition of Smackdown, he doesn't like any of his family members taking losses. We saw Roman really flip out over some of the Usos' losses in 2021, but we haven't seen much of that little side story in 2022, at least not yet. The moment where we definitely should see some sort of reaction come from Roman Reigns will be, of course, when the Usos eventually drop the tag team titles. If the Usos lose those tag team titles in embarrassing fashion, especially while Roman Reigns is still world champion, they're gonna have to answer to him. Roman will see them losing those titles as a big embarrassment for the family, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles the situation there. Will the Usos losing the titles be what starts the conflict, or will the Usos strike first on Roman? What would you like to see be done with the Bloodline? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.